Usually when there's something broken and it rightfully gets fixed, people always cry and say that Treyarch are quote-unquote nerfing fun every single time without fail. Now, I will say, I do actually think Treyarch is guilty of nerfing fun in some instances, but I also think that most of their decisions that are just labeled as nerfing fun by the community is just not true and is literally just normal balancing changes. So here, I want to take a look at 3 examples of this. One, I believe absolutely is nerfing fun. One, I think is nerfing fun, but I understand the reason why they need to patch it. And lastly, one that was labeled as quote-unquote nerfing fun, but absolutely needed to happen. So first up, what is actually nerfing fun? So the first thing I think of when I try to think of what that genuinely is when they nerf the boat flying glitch. This is complete nonsense. It has no competitive advantage. It's genuinely just hilarious and fun to do. Patching something like this, that's what nerfing fun truly is. Now, this may have caused unintended issues like maybe allowing for more boat pileup glitches or something like that, which may have been why it was patched. But if this was instead done for the sake of just being realistic, guys, then yeah, it kind of sucks, because why not just keep it in? And you know what, I'm actually going to throw in a second one here. The removal of multiplayer perks and zombies. Now, the reason I see something like this as actually nerfing fun is because these are practically quality of life features. The perk Slipstream actually just gives you no tack sprint, which means you only have to press the sprint button one time to sprint normally, which is how every other COD Zombies game was. And Close Shave is just the traditional melee system that we had for literally the entirety of COD Zombies up until right now. It literally just makes it so that you don't have to hold down the melee button for an extra second in order to actually melee with the melee weapon. And these are things that did not have a huge impact, but genuinely improve the gameplay experience. And next up, what is nerfing fun, but actually has like a pretty valid reason for doing it? And here I actually think is the original patching of the Liberty Falls door glitch. This was a super fun hidden strategy to where you could keep the doors closed on the bank by doing a little glitch to open it through the Yummy Freeze door, which actually opened up the game to a lot more gameplay opportunities and a lot more variety on the map. I genuinely believe this improves the gameplay quite a bit on the map, and overall was just not super OP and was pretty much just used for people to just have something different. And it kind of gave us this communal camping spot on the map, akin to kind of what we had back in 𝙪𝙎 with the catwalk. But there were some kind of valid grounds as to why they would have even changed this. I mean, clearly the way that you have to access it, it was not intentional. And the thing is that it did allow for one broken strategy that I didn't even really know about until recently. But the clear answer here, like what they could have done with the ice staff, was to just nerf the one specific strategy that's actually causing the problem. You know, you could just make the zombies throw meat at you when you're standing on the thing that makes it super hard for them to hit you. You know, why not just get to the core of the problem rather than just throwing some band-aid solution that kind of ruins the fun for everyone else? So yeah, I do think this is them nerfing fun. Yet I do understand why they would maybe need to fix a broken strategy. But rather than just get rid of it, I'd say just embrace it. You know, just make it more of like an intended feature and just kind of patch up that one broken part of it and just keep it in the game. And lastly here is an example of nerfing fun, but we absolutely needed it to happen. And that was that special zombies no longer dropped score streaks if you killed them while you were in a score streak. Now, one of the biggest persisting issues in this game since the launch of Black Ops 6 Zombies has been the mutant injection strategy, where you just get into one, kill all the zombies and bosses, collect the scrap, craft a new one, over and over and over again. You know, one of my friends actually got to round 250 something just doing this one strategy over and over. I mean, it's as brain dead easy as you can possibly get, and was debatably even easier than Cold War Zombies high rounds pre-patch. And the reason for this being just on top of all of the broken stuff about the mutant injections themselves. While you were in it and you were killing zombies, they were dropping you more injections. So you could just be in this infinite cycle of literally always being in a mutant injection the entire time, which you can't die in. I mean, this was as textbook absolutely busted as you could possibly think of. Yet when Treyarch finally nerfed this strategy, people lost their minds, once again saying that they're quote-unquote nerfing fun. I'm gonna say it. This was the most broken strategy in COD Zombies history. This was not nerfing fun, it was balancing the game. Guys, do we really want the strategy of sitting in a mutant injection and just at a crafting table to be the go-to strat on every single map? If every map in this game plays the same, it's just boring. What's the point in having a new cool wonder weapon to play around with when you can just stay in a mutant injection up until round 999 instead? This exact scenario is probably why we haven't even seen any further nerfs to the mutant injection. Yeah, it got nerfed and it's still OP as hell, but unfortunately it's probably not going to happen because the Treyarch saw the community go absolutely baby mode after barely even touching it. And so it all kind of goes back to what 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙀, the lead of Zombies, said back when the enemy spam of Black Ops 6 Zombies was nerfed. It's a lot easier to make things hard and pull them back than it is to make something easy harder.
You always want to start really hard. It's a lot easier to pull it back than it is to just make things harder.
It's clear that this is the reality, and it's just a shame that we didn't start the game off with more of this mentality when it came to kind of other systems. So now when you try and even slightly tweak the things that are absolutely busted, people lose their minds. Now, thinking back on it, the first time I remember this kind of ever even happening was back in Cold War when the ray gun got nerfed. The ray gun used to be super good back in the day. I'm talking like World at War through Black Ops 2, but it was kind of made weaker and weaker with each new zombies game that came out. That was until Cold War, where the ray gun was made the best gun in the entire game. It was a thrill to get from the box, and it made the ray gun an iconic wonder weapon once again. Yet this didn't last too long though, as eventually the ray gun's insane damage was nerfed, as well as the total ammo and price. And this made the previous round 100 strat of just sitting in the corner with the ray gun and literally never moving at all just a bit more difficult to achieve. But the ray gun was still great. This just made it so that it wasn't as unbelievably easy as it once was. But even though it was still one of the best guns in the game, people bitched and complained even if the strategy was still doable. A ton of people around the time that this happened were all saying the same thing. Why are we nerfing guns in a PvE mode? We're fighting zombies, we should be OP. And while I do agree we should be able to get fairly powerful in this game later on, as that's what zombies kind of is, the game now is already easy off round 1, and something this OP just makes something easy even easier than it already was. It's not the same as the past, where you kind of went from rags to riches. Whether it's a PvE mode or not, it needs balancing, as if anything is achievable by anyone, where's the fun? Like 90% of the classic zombies maps, I've never even got close to round 100. With some of their Easter eggs, I've maybe only completed like once or twice because they're that hard to do. And going back even all these years later, trying to achieve something on these games I've never even accomplished before is a blast. I mean, yeah, the great old core gameplay systems definitely play a part in this, but I also think a huge part as to why I'm still going back and replaying these maps from 10 plus years ago is that things are balanced and a lot of things are actually difficult to achieve. Yet something like Cold War, I mean, I haven't even really touched it in ages. If there's challenge, that means replayability. With these newer maps, it's all too common to just hop into it, then do the exact same strategy you've been doing for all the prior maps and just get to round 100, and then just never touch it again. But yeah, when I think about it from the perspective of people who are actually saying this kind of stuff, yes, it is fun to be overpowered for that short period of time. Just going to a boss fight and just absolutely destroying it, I totally get how that could be fun. But that does not actually mean that these should be in the game and that they are good for the long-term health of it. And while I genuinely personally believe for most people it is best for the game to actually be well balanced, I would honestly not care in the slightest, and honestly, I would love for an option to be there in the game for people that actually want that kind of option there. And you know what? They already did that 7 years ago with the release of custom mutations, something that has never come back ever since it was released. And so that's why I feel like I have to make a video like this. Because if we have to decide between all these broken things being in the game versus it being balanced, then I honestly gotta fight for what I think is best for the majority of the community, as well as myself. But all I know is for me and a lot of other fans out there, we found a lot of those older games way more replayable and something that we can go back to year after year after year. And we want these new games to be that too, not just for us, but for other fans as well, even ones that might not even realize that's what they actually want in the long run. And as someone like me, when I see them quote-unquote nerfing fun, all I see are just normal balancing changes that are going to make this game better in the long run. And with that said, I'm curious. So what are your thoughts on nerfing fun in COD Zombies? And are you wanting to keep things broken or keep things balanced? Let me know down in the comments. And after watching this, if you're starting to wonder if we, the community, are kind of ruining COD Zombies, I've actually got a whole dedicated video on that topic on screen now. And yeah, that's about it for me. See ya.